hardware is the untapped potential of engineering. DIY hardware is the untapped potential of engineering. Right now, literally everybody has a computer. Okay, everybody has a computer. Everybody can learn how to code, which is why we have so many software developers coming up on scene, and they're just building websites, they're building apps, they're building everything. But hardware is hard. Hardware, you need mechanical knowledge. Anybody can build one of something. Anybody can, if you want to build a retro computer, you can take a breadboard, you can take a CPU, and you can take a keyboard, and you can stuff it in a 3D printed case, and you can have your own computer. If you want a smartwatch, you can whip up a board on Osh Park, you can program it. But that's building one of something. If you want to build hundreds of something, thousands of something, tens of thousands of something, you need to know how to do that. So design for manufacture is the process of taking one of something, which is where we are now with the community that grew out from modeling and prop making. Sort of a crafty DIY modification of hardware. And now the theme is to design for manufacture, because building one of something is so easy. Anybody can build one of something, but if you want to build hundreds of something or thousands of something or tens of thousands of something, you need to learn how to design for something to be manufactured. If you're building one of something, you are obviously building it for yourself. If you're building hundreds of something or thousands of something, you're building it for just random people on the street. And for that, you need to be able to tell them why they need this. So you will need marketing. Now, whether that's just through Twitter, or you get picked up by a blog post, or you do a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding campaign, you need to know how to present yourself to other people. So just that one aspect alone, like there are professional marketers whose job is to tell people about things. That's their job. So this is an entire field that you need to at least be competent in. And that's just one thing. If you need to know design, the aesthetic of design, like a Raspberry Pi kind of Game Boy-ish thing. Okay, well, how do you design that? Do you take the original 1989 design of the Game Boy and use design cues from that? Do you make it beige? Do you put weird vertical lines on it embossed in the plastic? Or you could just make it all flat and perfect like a Nintendo Switch. That's not even considering injection molding. What is a mold draft? That is just, what is it going to look like? Well, then you take that and you get into the mechanical design. Like, hey, how do you actually put embossed slats in the back of a Game Boy? Because they can't be vertical, because you need to extract that from the mold. Compared to anything else, hardware creation is every single skill that exists. You need to be able to talk to people. You need to be able to design an injection mold. You need to know, well, what's it actually going to look like so you get people interested in this product. The best advice I can give you to entering the Hackaday Prize is documentation. You need documentation, but it is more subtle than that. You need good pictures. And here's a tip. The Hackaday uses 2 images for every Hackaday post. We use one that is square and one that is an aspect ratio of, I think it's 800 pixels by 350 to 450. So if you're building something that's tall, maybe you should lay it down on the floor so you can take a picture that's horizontal. This is not my doing. It's just, it makes it a whole lot easier to get noticed. So there you go. But on to documentation. I'd really like to see the entire thought process that goes into building something. the why of how you build something is far more important of the how you did it. So it really doesn't matter if you're using one microcontroller versus the other. But why does it need a microcontroller? You can just do it with a 555. And this is another thing that rolls back into hardware creation, is that it's multifaceted, and you need to know how to market your thing to other people. So in effect, the process of entering the Hackaday Prize is in itself a challenge, where it's one aspect of hardware design. Best way to enter something into the Hackaday Prize is to avoid something, I don't know if it's called founder syndrome, but everything that somebody makes is always the best thing they've done. And you need to realize that everybody that's made something, and everything that somebody made that you hate, the person that created it absolutely thinks is the best thing on the planet. So you need to dissociate yourself from the process of creation. And that's another skill you have to learn for hardware creation. It's just because you made it doesn't mean that it actually is the greatest thing ever made. You need to maybe do some market research, maybe see some unfulfilled needs. Maybe you have an interesting technique that could be applied to this existing thing, and you could turn it into something better. The Hackaday Prize is basically an award for self-fulfillment, and ideally, you do not need an award for self-fulfillment, because you have already built that thing. Your psychological need to create something has been fulfilled by the act of creating it. However, you can serve as an inspiration to other people. So we take the Hackaday Prize. The goal of the Hackaday Prize is to inspire others. The people who enter the Hackaday Prize, the people who win the Hackaday Prize, even if they don't win a prize, they've already won, because they have taken that psychological need to create something, and they did it. So to encourage people to do their own hardware, to create their own thing, we present the Hackaday Prize, because we want to inspire the next generation of hardware creators.